Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, has placed the world's most powerful, what is called the Armageddon nuclear missile system, dubbed the Satan II, into direct combat duty. This is, according to strategists, a horrifying threat to America. They say that the unstoppable intercontinental ballistic missile system will sink the entire UK. It's the size of a 14-story tower block. Now, the head of the Russian Space Agency issued a chilling announcement, according to news reports, when he told a crowd of individuals that the Sarmat, the Satan II, this complex has been put directly into its duty for combat. He said that Russia today will most likely undock the Russian module, this was at the time, from the International Space Station after the year 2030. Why they'll be doing that, it's unknown. But this Armageddon weapon is 116 feet in length. It can be loaded with 15 nuclear warheads at once. It was designed to carry out nuclear strikes on countries thousands of miles away. Those countries are, of course, the USA and Europe. It has, according to those in the military, the ability to completely wipe from the earth the United Kingdom, which stands about 1,600 miles away, in a 6-minute period. With an operational range of almost 12,000 miles, this missile system is reported to have absolutely zero competitors from America. They say there is no equivalent in terms of the terror that it can unleash. It's a 208-ton missile. It was, of course, meant to go into duty last year, late 2022, but it was mysteriously delayed. Some of the inquisitions into why it was delayed suggest that Russia was beginning to prepare it to target just America or just the UK. Now, the propagandists that stand inside of Russia, they have boasted that just one strike is all it will take to sink Britain under the ocean. It did pass its test launch 9 months ago. Vladimir Putin threatened that in the near future, the ICBMs would be in combat duty. They knew that there was going to be a delay, but there is no change in plans, they say. In June, he stated that the Satan II would be placed into preparedness or readiness to take out any enemy across the earth. The UK government dismissed the claims. They have said over and over again that Russian state media is just an example of disinformation peddling by the Kremlin. But we know that they have the capability to wipe life from this earth. Now, what they're saying is once and for all, the rest of the world, countries all around our planet, are going to be bowing to China and Russia. And let me tell you, Russia is set to retaliate after insiders leaked information a couple of days ago that the USA would plan to announce the sending of depleted uranium shells to Ukraine. The Defense Council and the Security Council inside of Ukraine stated that the country had tested various types of drones, new missile systems, and the nationality of the weapons used on Russia's federational territory is Ukraine, they say. So it's not a war against Russia. Now, this is just one piece to the puzzle. After we reported yesterday that Israel was preparing for a new flooding of chaos, viewer information started coming up showing armed police clashing with violent gangs, asylum seekers. 11 rioters were shot, 20 police officers were injured and taken out of duty. Hundreds of forces were rushed to the area, and the entire region was placed into emergency operations orders. And then we flip and go over across the ocean to Japan, where that country announced its largest ever military spending in a readiness to ramp up its self-defense forces, make new joint headquarters, and prepare to fight with the USA against China. The U.S. military, as we go a little bit further, but near China still, is reportedly in the stage of readiness to build with the Philippines a port, a military port, on an island close to Taiwan. This would enhance the strategic presence of the U.S. military near China's flank. According to Reuters and other reporting outlets, the U.S. military is engaging with in talks and ready to develop a new civilian port that has military use just 200 kilometers away from Taiwan. It's going to be situated on the southern edge of the Bashi Channel, What this is a vital place for ships to traverse between the Western Pacific and the South China Sea. The government there told Reuters that they have sought investment from the U.S. government to build alternative ports on the islands that will move cargo from the capital Manila all across the South China Sea and Pacific region. Now, the Philippines is expanding the use of U.S. military bases. They have doubled their number of humanitarian assistance bases. Thousands of U.S. troops are already on regular rotation there. Training maneuvers are always taking place. Unnamed Philippine officials are revealing that U.S. military officials are there discussing the establishment of new connections. China is absolutely floored. They are just pissed at this because as soon as China sees a threat like this, you're going to have a reaction. This isn't Iran, guys. This isn't North Korea. This is mother freaking China. China has the balls. They have the weapons. A communist country will throw bodies to war faster than a capitalist country, faster than a republic, especially where people can say, no, we're armed. We're not going to go to fight your bankers' war. China will tell the people to go, and a marching they will go. So anybody who doesn't see China as an enormous threat to global peace. Now, I'm not saying they're going to start it. I'm not saying that they're going to instigate it. What I am saying is they are ready to follow through with a world war that sees the entire globe swallowed up in conflict. I was just talking to somebody about civil war in the United States today, and he said, well, what's going to really happen if we come down to that? Let me tell you, you'll be afraid to go out of your house. Your family won't go to work anymore. Your kids won't go to school. You won't have the food you need. Your water will be cut off because in every conflict since the beginning of time, they have poisoned or limited access to food and water. If you can starve and if you can, through dying of thirst, take out your enemies or break their will to fight, you do it. That's no different than when they shut off access or an enemy shuts off access to your power supply, your water supply, your food supply. They're going to do it so quickly that if it's not poisoned first, because they can catch that a little bit, but they can sabotage it so that you don't have water. And so when people say, what's a civil war going to be like? You will be afraid. You'll be afraid to sleep, afraid to go outside, afraid to go to church, afraid to talk with friends. You won't know who's on whose side. People will shut up and they'll stop talking about what they believe in. So it's definitely not a time for anyone to look forward to. But what we have right now is a time to get ready for times like that. We have seen over 60% of the U.S. population say in studies and polls that if we continue on the path we are on with a divided country, a violently divided country, you will see civil war. Now, what happens then? Does the military choose a side? Do they say we're going to stay a constitutional republic and so we're going to swing this side a little bit? Do they reinforce certain political ideologies? Do they ramp up certain politicians, government bodies? Do they let fall some of the others? Do they take out some? It's really anybody's guess here at this point, because all we can do is say we know it's going to be bad. And so as I sit looking at a high-level ballistic vest, as I have a tool for self-defense within reach, I know that all we can do is hope, pray if you want to, think about what the next stage would be, get food, get water, and get medicine. You see, if somebody, this is how they run these operations. They'll take Chinese nationals inside of America and they'll pinch them using our spy services. They'll pinch their families and they'll say, you know what? If you don't want us to, through our services inside of China, hurt grandma, hurt little your little daughter, granddaughter, you're going to cooperate with us. The same thing China's doing. The same thing Russia's doing. And so we have these blacked out shadow operations happening inside of America right now. Look at how quickly we have forgotten that Chinese groups were running bio labs with the ability to weaponize different viruses like AIDS and herpes and COVID and all these different ones. This was just weeks ago, but we have already forgotten about it. What about the Chinese police that were operating inside of America? What about the Russian groups that were sabotaging different infrastructural points? You see, the greatest thing they can do as an enemy country is infiltrate opposition inside of a nation. And so if you already have a disgruntled group, let's just say you call them extreme whatever, lefties, righties, whatever. If they're a disgruntled group and China and Russia say, you know what, we're going to give you some funding. Of course, they don't know this. The people don't know this because they would realize that they're being purposely divided and they wouldn't be part of that extreme group. But the groups will say, we'll give you some funding, access to whatever you need, and they'll point them in the right direction to sow chaos and to sow unrest inside of the country. And so when we look at government studies that say we are weeks away from a civil war, if the right triggers are met, then we know that at any point in time, it could be go time. What do you guys think about that? Do you think we're that close? Do you think China and Russia are actively engaging in that type of behavior in the USA? Or do you think it's all just a war for your thoughts? Thank you guys for being here with us. I appreciate you as the coined Dr. Doom of YouTube. I appreciate you for being here and realizing just how bad things really are. From my family straight to yours around the world, please stay safe and keep watch.